Mr. Bailey, you bringing a jury? You may be seated. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session in cause number M327596, case of South State of Texas versus Patrick Daniel Gallagher. Let the record reflect that Mr. Gallagher is present in court with his attorney Dustin Galmore. State is present with Assistant District Attorney Erica Porter and Attorney Colby Hawkfire. Let the record also reflect that the jury is now present in the courtroom. Mr. Hawkfire, you may proceed.
Thank you. Officer Perkins, legal where you were was once you had identified the vehicle, correct, and you were conducting a traffic stop. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how long did it take you from the time you observed the traffic infraction and speeding to when you were able to stop the vehicle?
From the position I was sitting to where the vehicle came to a stop was between 7 and 8 blocks.
So did you catch up to him? And what did you do? Turn the lights on?
Yes.
Sirens? Okay, now did it take the vehicles a long time to stop?
I can't remember, sir.
Okay, now, do you remember did he pull on the side of the road or did he pull into a parking lot?
He pulled into the Taco Ray business parking lot, the 1500 block of Neil on that one.
Okay, now, what happened then? What'd you do?
I exited my vehicle and then that my body camera was on, and then I approached the vehicle.
Did you make contact with the driver?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, and did you determine who the driver that night on May 7th, 2020? Is that person here in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and where is he sitting?
He's sitting right here wearing my black shirt.
But the record reflect that the witness identified the defendant, Mr. Patrick Gallagher.
The record will so reflect.
Okay, and did you get his name when you made contact with him?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, what did you notice about him when you first made personal contact with the driver?
As I approached the open window where Mr. Gallagher was sitting, first thing I noticed was that I could tell there was an odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from the vehicle. Introduced myself to the defendant, and he asked me if there was a light out back there. I assumed at the time he meant on his vehicle, and I advised him that the reason for the stop was speeding.
May I approach that?
Yes, you may.
I'm showing you what's been previously marked as space exhibit number 1. Take a look at that, sir. You recognize it?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, and is that a thumb drive that contains the body worn camera you mentioned on that night, May 7th, 2022?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, and have you watched the video that is included on the thumb drive on station exhibit number 1?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay, now, was that prepared on a recording device, your body worn camera, was working properly at the time they took the video?
Yes, sir.
Does it fairly and accurately represent what you saw and what you did on May 7th, 2020?
Yes, sir, it does.
In this particular case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you can identify all the voices
Yes, sir.
in it, and you are a competent operator of the body cam?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and when was it made? Now, it's brought over to the DA's office on a disc and then we place it on other media, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, you've reviewed that, and that's what's included on Stacy's note 1.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that right? Has it been tampered with in any way?
Yes, sir.
And it includes what you recorded from your body cam? That's a video you reviewed before trial today.
Yes, sir.
At this time, Your Honor, approach. This time, Lieutenant Public Counsel And barring any objection, stage one, we ask to be admitted for all. Okay. No objection.
No objection, states exhibit number 1 is admitted.
Permission to publish.
You may publish it to the jury.
Judge, we're gonna play that and stop it, ask some questions, and so to save time.
Okay. Mr. Porter, get the lights.
Okay, you haven't had anything else to take over, Susan? Hello. Sorry?
Is there a line up like that?
No, sir, our reading for your stop is you're going 48 and a 30. Any reason for your speed today?
I'm trying to get back home. I'm so tired. My brother got the TPC stuff. I've been working all day long over there.
Okay, you got your driver's license and your insurance card? There you go, I don't need your credit cards. Here's your credit card, Zach.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Where
No,
now?
it's fine. Just weren't paying attention or?
No, it's because I heard it came in. Gosh, you know, brother, something my call to be scared in my house down. Nothing is crazy.
I got
You
you.
know, you can see that.
Yes, sir, and you guys been working out there all day?
I won't take some over. I've been there for the last 5 days on my off days. Trying to get it. That's why I'm sticking my house right now. It's driving crazy.
Yes, sir. Is this your current address, Mr. Patrick?
So, you know,
It's 2912. West Boston?
no, I'm sorry, it's 1308, South 36.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a new license, but I can't go see him yet because it's virus, so I got a new one coming.
I got you. Okay, so you got a new license on the way, you just, still working on getting it to you?
Yes.
All right, I understand. Well, Mr. Patrick, we got to drink today. When's the last, what was the last beer you drank? Or when was it?
Probably an hour and a half.
Yeah, an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, I only had 3 hours. It was busy all day long since 7 o'clock this morning. The last 5 days, actually. We did.
Yes, I was pretty like there. Not like.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so you drank 3 of them, but it's, what, them about what, 8:30 is the last day? Hour and a half ago? Okay. When's the last time you ate? 3 o'clock? Okay, so y'all just been working at the house all day?
We got work today, so my cousin too. Thank God though, because the last 4 days I've been by myself. So. It's some other stuff. So like, let me go.
Well, I mean, it's just a lot of people, and sometimes you just ain't noticing what's going on, don't realize that you're stepping on it a little bit.
Then I gotta work 5 people. I didn't say 7:29. That's what it's trying to.
Yes, what size beers was it that you drank? Cans,
Yeah, 12 hours.
12-ounce cans? You didn't drink the big 40s or anything like that? I'm talking about those huge bottles you can get at the gas stations.
No, I'm not respecting. No, sir.
Right, officer, you said that you noticed an odor of alcohol coming from this person, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that why you asked him how many beers he had to drink tonight?
That's one of the reasons, yes, sir.
Okay, what, was there another reason why he asked him that?
As I was speaking with the defendant, one of the things I noticed were that his eyes were glassy in appearance. And that they were red in the white portions of it, which we commonly refer to as being bloodshot. And then as I was speaking with him, it sounded to me as if his voice was, or his speech was slurred whenever he spoke, and then the combination of the alcohol. And one of the other signs that we look for is whenever you ask for documents to see what a person hands you. The defendant handed me not only his driver's license, but he also handed me a credit or debit card. So I gave that back to him. That's typically a clue that we'll look for when we ask for certain documents, that they give us the documents we asked for, or if they give us different documents.
Now, and as the video showed, you asked him further, and he admitted to drinking 3 beers, is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
And when did he say when he drank those beers?
He said he had drank the last one an hour to an hour and a half before, which would have put at about 8:30 p.m. Okay, you haven't had anything else to drink though this evening? All right. Well, would you mind just stepping out with me real quick? I just want to check you, make sure you're good to go. That way we can get you home. I'm stepping back here tonight, please.
You think so?
Yes, sir. Everything on you about poking stick in here? I gotta pat you down, just not policy. You might just take your hand on that, please? I'm just gonna pat you down, just make sure you want anything to hurt you, hurt me. Spread your feet a little bit. What's your name? I'm also Perkins. Nice meeting you, Mr. Patrick. I just want to make sure that you didn't have anything on you. Just give me just a sec, all right? I just gotta run your name real quick, and we'll try to see if we can't get you on your way. One second. 148-61-796-86. You take any medications, Mr. Patrick? What's your name?
I got it right on the motorcycle last June, and I was still twice and it really.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you got back from it, that you, it's like a pain medication or a seizure medication, what,
It's one thing I had to do, things like do with my head and spats.
okay.
I've been over the end, I'm gonna leave it, so. But I'm thinking it's the moment.
So you had a traumatic brain injury?
They don't me twice. You know, they were like, I was in the hospital here, I went to Conroe, I went to Sheen, I went to places else in for 8 months. So it was bad.
Yes, sir. And you still see like a neurologist or something like that for it?
Let's see, neurologist. You know that.
Usually, anytime it's somebody with their head or brain, No, sir.
Unbelievable. You could have walked the airport, so I'm trying to get rid of it. The big message, I wish I would have didn't have to, but. It's what it is.
My officer, you asked him the question of whether he was taking medication. Did he ever give you the name of the medication he was taking?
No, sir, he did not.
Okay, and you asked, or you're seeing a specialist, a neurologist, did he agree he's seeing a neurologist or tell you? What, did he tell you he had a brain injury? Or did he just tell you he got in a wreck?
He talked about getting a wreck and
Okay, did he, but he never said what the injury was and what medication he took every morning?
no, sir, I never got any of the specifics.
Biggest fan.
Okay,
This is when I don't want to, I love it's not what we always say,
yes, sir. They just take medication in the morning.
yeah, it's, yeah. I don't, no pills.
Okay, no good. I will sit down, right back with you, okay?
But that's confusing. Did he, at the last, did he say no pills?
Yes,
When he,
sir.
and then immediately before that, did he say, yes, I take this every morning? Correct?
Yes, sir.
He takes a medication, but couldn't tell you what it was, and then he says no pills.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that correct? Okay.
So, when's the last time you saw your neurologist or your doctor for your head? About a month ago?
That's all I go and see.
Okay, so, is there anything, any kind of, like, what you call it, any issues with it that are still ongoing, or is it just?
Yeah, really good thing. Other than that, I'm ready to go.
Okay. So nothing that's actively, affecting your mind or anything like that, just kind of more so just monitoring and make sure that it's,
We'll wait on that, yes.
okay, but they are taking it?
Yeah, I try not to, I don't think that's said, but.
Yeah, nobody does.
Sorry, sir. Generally.
Oh, yeah. No, that's perfectly fine. If you have to take it, I'd say take it as well as you can, because yes, sir. All right, well, real quick, I just want to check your eyes, just to make sure that, I mean, everything's fine. You might step out here a little bit. And then, we'll get on with it in just a sec.
Officer, you've trained in giving field sobriety tests.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and have you conducted few or many in your career?
For me, it'd be many.
Many, okay, how ballpark, and before May 7th, 2020, how many field sobriety tests have you conducted on people under suspicion of driving while intoxicated?
I would say between 45 and 50.
So you've done it before, you're experienced in it, and this is not a new thing you do. Is that correct? Okay. Now, is at the time with it, you're doing your investigation, you're conducting this test for what reason?
I use the test for twofold. One, if he has been drinking, I want to make sure that if he's below the legal limit, he is okay to go home safely. And then the other thing would be to be using building blocks to get to probable cause of if somebody is driving intoxicated, but it's going towards making the decision to either arrest or not arrest somebody for driving while intoxicated.
Okay, now if you hadn't observed the clue or like smelled the odor of alcohol or observed the glassy bloodshot eyes, and does that send you into further investigation? I mean, observing those clues, you don't make a decision to make an arrest for DWI after those, right?
No, sir, it just warrants further investigation into it.
And that's how you're trained to investigate.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, did you do your training on that you were trained to do on May 7th, 2020, excuse me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, or field sobriety test, divided attention test.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what else? Why do we do divided attention test on investigations of DWI?
Because driving itself is a divided attention task because you're having to focus on the steering wheel, you're having to focus on pressing the gas, pressing the brake, and then also being aware of your surroundings as you travel down the road.
Now, did you conduct a divided attention test on Mr. Gallagher on May 7th, 2020?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, did you conduct what we call a walk and turn test?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, is that, and that's included on your video, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What's the reason for moving your vehicle?
Repositioning the vehicle so that way, whatever he does for walking, so that I can make sure that where we're at, it's in the field of motion.
Hang on, one more second, move my car just a little bit. That line pretty well. So here's what I'm gonna have you do. Okay, you take your left leg and place your left leg on that line.
On the line?
Yes, sir. So that way I get like the lines coming out your foot. And then I would take your right leg.
Before we do that, let me ask you very quickly. What is the purpose of the walk and turn test?
It's a divided attention test to determine whether or not the person can divide their attention.
Okay, and
complete the task.
now, do you explain the test clearly to the individual that you're conducting the test on and give them instructions and ask them to perform the walk and turn?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct? Okay, and did you follow the protocol of how you were trained in the academy, also through your training experience on May 7th, 2020?
Yes, sir.
And that's included on this video.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what clues are you looking for
We're,
in the walk and turn test that may be used as signs of someone that is intoxicated?
we're looking for 8 total clues possible. The first one's gonna be once a person's in position, we want them to stay in that position. So if they fall out of that starting position, that's a clue. If they begin walking prior to us instructing them to, because once we get them in a position, we do tell them stay in this position until instructed to start. Outside of that, we're looking for someone who steps off the line. This is a heel to toe step. We're looking for whether or not they lift their arms up to try to use them as balance. We are looking for whenever they get to the turn portion that they do turn correctly. We're also looking to make sure that once they begin the test, they don't stop.
Now, and we're gonna play this, and then I'm gonna ask you what clues you observed.
Yes, sir.
Put your right leg in front of it like so. So you can go ahead and do that. Go ahead and take your right leg and put it touching heel to toe.
On the line.
Yes, sir. So here's what I have to do. You're gonna take a series of 9 heel to toe steps along this line. Turn around and then take 9 heel to toe steps back, and I'm gonna explain to you how to do it. So stay in this position until I instruct you to begin. All right, so what we're gonna do is when I tell you to begin, you're gonna take 9 heel to toe steps, turn around, take 9 heel to toe steps back. You're gonna make sure you pan out loud. It's gonna look and it's gonna sound like this. 1, 2, 3, and so on until you get to your 9th step. When you get to your 9th step, what you do is take a series of small steps around the front foot, So kind of pivot on that front foot. Regain the position, and then you're just gonna 1, 2, 3, back until you reach your 9th step. So it's just 9 steps, pivot on that front foot, and then just 9 steps back. Would there be anything that would prevent you from being able to do that? All right, you understand the instructions? Yes, sir. So what I always tell everybody is, kind of just focus on one. And then if you begin, don't stop until you're finished. Just you not go those. You can go whenever you're ready. Last thing that I have you do is, go ahead and just kind of stand at attention. The hands down by your sides.
Now, what, if the clues that you stated to the jury, which ones did you observe on this, Mr. Gallagher on May 7th?
I observed that, Mr. Gallagher missed heel to toe. I observed that he did use his arms to try to keep balance. Whenever he got to the turn, he did stop. And then I also observed that right at the very beginning, when he was standing there, he did step off for just a second whenever he was in the starting position.
And holding the starting position is part of the test, isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's, you have balance. That's a clue in the test, correct?
Yes, sir.
While you're giving instructions, because you need to have the ability, function physically and your mind, to be able to take instructions. Is that correct? So how would you say he performed on the walk?
On the walk and turn portion, if 2 clues are exhibited, that is an indicator of intoxication. So since Mr. Gallagher had more than 2 clues, it would be indicative of him being intoxicated.
Now, did you stop the investigation right then and say, all right, turn around and arrest, on suspicion of DWI?
No, sir, I did not.
And what did you do next?
I moved on to the next portion of the test.
Tell us what that is.
That's going to be the 1-leg stand.
Okay, now, please explain to the jury what the 1-leg stand is.
And during the 1-leg stand portion, we'll have somebody stand at attention while we give details. That's heels and toes touching, arms down by the side. And whenever the test begins, they choose either leg. They're going to lift it up with their legs straight in front of them and try to lift their foot about 6 inches above the ground or about the height of a Coke can. And as they do that, they're going to count 1001, 1002, 1003 until they're instructed to stop.
Now, is that similar to the way that the walk and turn is performed? It's a divided attention test that requires them to listen to instructions and then perform simple tasks.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? Okay.
So what I'm gonna have you do is when I say to begin, you're gonna pick 1 leg, either leg. You're gonna lift it up about 6 inches off the ground at the height of the Coke can with your foot parallel to the ground like so. And what I'll have you do is I'll just have you count out loud 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on until I tell you to stop. Do you understand the instruction? So I just lift 1 leg up about 6 inches, just hold it there, and then you're gonna count by 1000s until I tell you to stop. Give me just a moment. I'll get ready for it. All right, now I always tell everybody, it helps best keep just focused on one spot. Make sure you count out, keep your hands down by the side. When you pick your foot up, make sure that you keep your both legs straight, and you don't put the foot down until you're done.
Now, I needed to ask you, what are you looking for in this test? What are the clues that you are trained to look for in the leg stand test?
There are 4 clues that we look for on the 1-leg stand, and that's whether the person lifts their arms to use their arms for balance, whether they put their foot down, if they sway in one direction or another, or if they begin hopping.
Yes, sir, until I tell you that you're good to stop. You gotta hold your legs straight like that. Yes, everybody, your legs gotta be straight. You can begin whenever you're ready. 1001, 2000.
Okay. 13, 14.
Good. All right, I'll be right back with you, Mr. Patrick. Just sit back, okay?
How many out of the 4 clues did you observe on Mr. Gallagher?
I observed 2 clues. He used his arms for balance and then he put his foot back down on the ground approximately 6 times.
All right, so he never fully kept it up, it kept going back down, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you can't, you see it better on your dash cam, but in your in-car, I mean, your body cam, you can see the times he places his foot down,
Yes, sir.
correct? Now, if a person exhibits 2 out of 4 clues, is that an indicator?
Yes, sir. That's an indicator that a person's intoxicated.
Okay. Now, did you stop the test right then and said, all right, one leg stand, 2, got 2 out of 4 clues, you're under arrest?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay, what did you do next?
I spoke to Mr. Gallagher about whether or not there were any open containers in his vehicle.
Okay. And is that included on your video?
Yes, sir.
officer. There's no volume, but is that the point at which you asked Mr. Gallagher if he had any open containers in it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what was his response?
I can't remember his exact words, but he had talked about his cousin having driven the vehicle earlier, so that I think he said that it might be.
Well, it might be, but it wasn't his.
Yes, sir.
Is that what he said? Yeah.
Pretty cold. How long ago was your cousin driving your truck? Yes, sir.
I go look there, you have to see the picture.
Well, I mean, that beer's pretty cold.
No,
So, I mean,
that was bad.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's a beer right there in the side pocket of the door.
That was so cool.
Well, I mean, while it's spilled out, it's still got beer in it. I mean, that's why I was asking, whenever you opened your door, it looked like that's what was pouring out all over the ground.
You can see. It's really cool. I'm gonna put it in, honestly.
Yes, sir. Just a second. Grab it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I asked him for doing it again. Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, we approach.
Yes. You may be excused.